Uh, Obviously, it's with great pride and pleasure that I'm able to say a few words about the 86-87 basketball team. I truly feel that it was the most significant season and perhaps singular event in the history of the athletic program at St. Joseph's College. And when I say that, I mean the fact that we were able to go to the national tournament and for the first time in the history of our New England Conference win a basketball game out at that highest level was truly significant. It's to be able to recognize an entire team is certainly a great honor for each and every one of us. To understand the accomplishment of this team, one must look at the 2 years previous and recognize the anguish that we suffered. Because back then, we were in the NAIA, and we played against teams that had full scholarships for the right to go to the national tournament. They had a full cadre of scholarships. And the 84-85 team, we lost in overtime in the district championship in the Portland Expo, and even after we missed, Mark Jones mysteriously missed a breakaway layup that we all saw the ball go in, but it didn't go in, and we got beaten in overtime. The next year, in 85-86, we were 26-4. All 4 losses that year came to scholarship programs, and we got beaten by an 8-footer with 2 seconds left in the championship game. So those players, many of which were part of those teams, we were devastated. And I can remember after the first year, 2 of our, almost all of the players, but I can remember that I came into the locker room, and to the person, they were all crying, and they were in under the showers, just in their uniforms, just letting the water cascade down upon them. And the next day, they were in the gym beginning the preparation, we're going to do it next year. An amazing thing, to see as a coach. And sadly, to have that taken away with 2 seconds to go. So you can understand the incredible pain. And as we got ready to begin the 86-87 season, here we are beginning the year, coming off 2 heart-wrenching losses, and more significantly perhaps, we'd lost 3,900 points in 2 scores. Jeff Creech, who was here tonight, where is Jeff? I'd like Jeff to stand up, please, because, I mentioned, as significant as the 86-87 season is, that's how significant Jeff Creech coming to St. Joseph's was. It totally changed not just the basketball team, it changed the entire program and the recruiting. Because I used to recruit players that were capable of playing at Division II and I levels, and many of which would say to me, "Coach, thanks, but I'm a scholarship player, I'm not going to come to St. Joe's." And I say, "I understand that." And I said, "All I ask you to do is come and see us play, and if you can tell me you're better than Jeff Creech, then you go to your Division II or I." And, we got a lot of very good players because once they saw Jeff, they recognized that, whoa, this is a different level of program. And I always remember one time we played at Florida State University, the Seminoles. It doesn't get much bigger than that. And we gave them all they wanted. We were down 3 with about 2.5 minutes to go. And I remember Jeff had 27 points that night against Florida State. And the coach said, "Nice game, don't you ever call me for another game, because we're not going to play you." And just like Coach Graffam, wanting to play against, the Division I's, that's how we got better. Sometimes you have to take losses to get better. And that's going to happen in this year too, 86-87. One thing I want to quickly say, and I should also give credit, I mentioned Mike Fiorillo and Jeff, 2 outstanding scorers. Charlie Marquardt also graduated that year, and God bless Charlie Markwood, the finest defensive player to ever play in this school, but God bless him because with the most recent storm last week, he not only lost his home, he also lost his rental property that he owned and was, using to build, for retirement. So he doesn't even have a place to live down there, and we've been in touch with him, and he's doing fine. But it's, obviously a lot of people like him are suffering a great deal because of that storm. I do want to say that we were not certainly bereft of talent. I think it's a little bit ironic in the sense that when, we all assumed, the coaches, Coach McDevitt, Coach Graffam, we all felt like our program has to go down a little bit after losing such great players as Fio and Creature. But we had very good players. We had players like Charlie Warren playing behind that weren't getting a lot of minutes, and our opponents weren't, they didn't realize how good he was as a player because they didn't see him until now it was his turn to shine. We started out that season, and I don't tend to, I know you're the master of statistics, and I don't tend to go through each and every game and mention how many field goals we made, but I do want to mention a handful. We opened that season at Stonehill. Again, Division II Stonehill, on the road, first ball game. And we had a transfer that year who came from UMPI, Brent Nichols, and boy, it didn't take him long to earn his worth, because this has kind of been a fascinating thing. Twice this year, we beat Division II teams, and I tell coaches this and they kind of shake their heads, Stonehill being one of them. Twice we beat Division II teams on the road when they had the lead, they had the ball, and there was less than 3 seconds to go in the game. Now, twice. And it's not like a home cooking in the chamber where strange things happen. That would have been expected that we did it there. Okay? And what happened was Stonehill took the ball out, and they threw it in bounds and hit the ceiling. And, of course, that becomes a dead ball. So now we get possession of the ball. And, with this ball game. And I diagrammed an incredibly brilliant out-of-bounds play that didn't work at all. But what happened was, it was kind of fascinating because the ball got thrown into Brent, and as kind of a hurry up, get it in before we get the 5-second count, Brent caught it over his head because it was a kind of an errant throw. And when he caught it, like a soccer throw, he just threw it up to beat the buzzer. He banked it in, and we beat Stonehill, at their place. And I can remember we all dove on the floor. You guys remember that. We thought we'd won the national championship. Here we are 1-0. But it's to beat Division II scholarship programs in their building never was easy. We then, that next game was fun because anytime you can beat Husson College, that was good. We beat them by 20 that night. We went on to win the next couple handily. This team really had a proclivity for scoring. In fact, we scored over 100 points 11 times, over 110 6 times. Now, that doesn't happen a great deal anymore. But we kind of get after it and get up and down the floor. Our fifth game was against Northeastern University. And Northeastern had Reggie Lewis playing there, and Reggie was a terrific, terrific player. Obviously, went on to play with the Boston Celtics. And one thing I should mention, and that is that one outstanding gentleman that's not here tonight, David Chadbourne, who was, the smallest of the monks, but the man that really, stirred the drink. David had a bad back, and David's back became worse and worse, so that when he came out of the game, he couldn't sit down. He would stand up. And finally, after 3 games, he said, I can't go anymore, and he said, I have to be operated on. It's kind of fascinating because he was operated on with a disc operation, and the doctors told him it would be anywhere between 6 and 12 months before he would play again. The only thing is they didn't understand the pain threshold that David Chadbourne had. They didn't understand that this is the David Chadbourne that started doing 1,000 sit-ups and 500 push-ups a day, and he built that to 2,000 and 1,000. And you know, I tell people that and they think I'm making these numbers up, and now that is absolutely factual. And anytime you have that kind of pain threshold and that kind of discipline, he's going to alter the course of what doctors are going to tell him. So we'll see where he comes back. But against Northeastern that night, we wound up, we were only down 3 with 8 minutes to go. But in the last 8 minutes, we had 9 turnovers, all of which led to dunks. Now, had we had David, I don't think we'd have had all of those turnovers because he was, you know, a phenomenal point guard. But the final score was 20. We lost by 27, 81-54 at Northeastern against a highly skilled Division I opponent. The next game, we beat St. Joseph, Vermont. That was Jeff Creech Day. He came back and had his number retired. That was fun. It was I wasn't sure if it was Jeff Creech Day or if it was Moose Day, and Jeff went along with it. Which was that? Moose Day. Steve Terrio, who was a major part of our success.
Pick your poison, Coach.
Pardon?
Pick your poison.
One thing that's kind of unique, again, I don't intend to go over every game. We had 7 different players lead this team in scoring. 7 different players were the leading scorer in a particular game. 6 of those players had 25 points or more. And that's unheard of in college basketball. So it wasn't, if Brian Rubinskas had a bad day, it didn't matter, because Tommy Ullman would have a great game. And to be able to have that, well, okay, maybe not Tommy. I lost my mind for a second. Tommy came from West Springfield. We went down and played Western New England from, his hometown. And when we played them the 7th game of the year, they were 8-0. And I don't know if you remember that game, Tommy, but we were 6-1 with our only loss coming into Northeastern, and we beat them like a drum. And that game, Tommy on his home turf was a leading scorer and had 27 points that night. And again, it's always nice to be able to go back to your home, territory and say, that you missed me, you didn't recruit me, whatever. We played Bryant College next, and this is another Division II. And incidentally, Bryant College last night played Indiana University. They're a Division I school, and Indiana's ranked #1 in the country. Okay, we beat Bryant that night, and Halvey was the reason, Paul Halverson, that we beat him. And the reason this was the next game in which, once again, they had the lead, they had the ball, 3 seconds to go, and what happened was they are driving to the basket, obviously not thinking because they had the lead, okay, by 1, and Paul Halverson stepped in, the player passed the ball, and then Halvey took the charge. And if you pass it and then take a charge, it's not an offensive foul, meaning you just get the ball out of bounds, but because he passed it, we now get a 1-and-1. And so Halvey steps to the line, makes both free throws, and again we beat a Division II school on the road, even though we snared victory from the jaws of defeat there. We then headed to Florida, where we played 2 very good teams, FIT and Tampa, and quite frankly, we got beaten quite badly by both of them. Todd Linda from Tampa was as good as any player that we played against, including Reggie Lewis. He had 45 against us that night, and just an outstanding team. One of the things that really pays dividends, later in the year, we go on to make the national tournament, and I remember saying to the players, I go, no, wait a second. I say, I know here we go, we've drawn Viola, who is, it's kind of fascinating how they tell you this. They don't seed you, but Viola was seeded 3rd, and there's 32 teams, so we kind of figured it out. We were 30th out of the 32. But you're not 30th, you're going to play number 3, is what they told us. Well, I said, fellas, we played Northeastern. We played, Bryant and beat them on the road. We beat Stone. Tampa is loaded. I don't care how good they are. They were coming into that game 29-1, having won 16 games in a row. I said, they're not going to be any better. Sometimes playing against the best competition prepares you for better competition, even though it may affect your win-loss record. After the trip to Florida and getting beaten, we came home and we ran off a great many games, wins in a row. One loss we had was at Manhattanville in a tournament, the one game that we really shot the ball poorly. And again, we run the streak all the way down into February, and we ran into a real tough kid by the name of Joey DeRoche at Thomas College, and he lit us up down there, and we lost by 2, which gets us to the tournament. And when we got ready to go to the tournament, once again, we're going to see the usual suspects, because Franklin Pierce, who's now incidentally we scrimmaged them with the basketball team last week. They're the #1 ranked team in New England Division II and the #2 ranked team in the country as we speak. And they had a full 12 scholarships back when we played them then. And we beat them by 17 that night in the Portland Expo to advance to the championship game. And here's where I guess the basketball gods finally shone upon us, because the last 2 years had heart-wrenching losses. Well, now in the championship game, we really shouldn't have won this game. We played well, but we're down 6 with 1:12 to go. And, obviously it looks very bleak. With 12 seconds to go, we're down 2, and their best free throw shooter was on the line shooting a 1-and-1. He missed the front end. We grabbed the rebound, Charlie Warren did. David Chadbourne brought it up on the fly. We took a shot and missed it. Brent Nichols got the rebound, put it up, and missed it. Charlie Warren, who was a gorilla of a rebounder, put it up and missed it, and got his own rebound, laid it in, and it went in as the horn went off, and he got fouled. So here we are, playing against and you're kind of waiting for the horn to go off. Now he has to go in front of 2,800 people in the expo and make a free throw, and not a problem. Never a doubt. He made it. We won by 1. We're going to the national championship. And like I say, it's crazy, because we're down 6 with 1:12 to go. There's no reason to win this game. As I say, we draw Biola. Now, Biola is 29-1. They've won 16 games in a row coming in. And to show you how good they were, New Hampshire College was the Division II champion that year. The New England champion. Biola beat them by 29. So we knew that we had to play an outstanding game. Well, we went out. It was kind of fun, and of course the sisters, they remember this. The sisters were such a huge part of this, and they were all there in attendance. And we didn't have any money back then. We weren't sure how we were going to get there, but Sister Joyce says we'll find a way, and we did. We're getting ready. We're practicing for the big game, and Halvey, remember this, Hal? Like it was yesterday, he says. Halvey, who was 6'4" and 143 pounds. Huh? Yeah, Halvey dunked in practice and ripped the backboard down. So the glass is splintering, shattering, and we all, were fearful a little bit, not about Halvey, but how are we going to pay for this? Because we're going, oh no, there goes, we had no budget, okay? But fortunately, they didn't charge us, but it was kind of unique. And Biola practiced prior to us, and I know that must have helped us, because they saw us running around, and I'm sure we weren't impressive looking, and other than Coach Beth. And so as a result, they probably went into the game, looking by us. Against Biola, we jumped out to a great early lead. We decided we were going to sit back in a 2-3 zone. We were going to try to slow the game down, because we didn't think that we had the athletes, so we could just try to beat them 110 to 100. But let's slow it down a little bit. We held them to 22 points in the first half. We're ahead 38-22 at halftime. And I can remember the coaches going in, and it's, of course, you know, as a coach to the players, it's like, yeah, I mean, no problem, we expected this. And we're going, are you kidding me? This is unbelievable, right? And of course, we know what's going to happen because they're going to make a run. They're too good a team. And we were hoping that we, you know, of course, the words being said, fellas, keep up the good work. Let's not play scared. Let's keep going, right? Man, we're scared to death. Okay? Well, we don't want to pass that message on. So sure enough, they make a run at us. They cut it to 4. But, and this is where David Chadbourne here is the all-time assist leader at this college. He's also the all-time free throw percentage shooter. And David shot .785, which is pretty good for a career. David shot 95% when the game was on the line and it mattered at the end of the game. He hit 4 straight front ends of 1-and-1s the last 3 minutes. Made both of them. So in other words, 8 straight free throws. For the game, we were 26 for 29 from the foul line. That's how you beat teams that are better than you are. Because quite truthfully, they were probably better than we were. Okay, maybe not on that night. But when you know, David had the ball, you know, David, you just keep the ball. Alvy, you can go hide over there. The point is, if we kept the ball in David Chadbourne's hands and put him on the foul line, he was going to make them. He did, and sure enough, what a great victory that was. You know, the nuns, they were all there. They were celebrating. You know, we're hugging people we don't know. You know, and here the neat thing was, of course, the girls were out there with us, and you know, that made it a very special trip. Some great photos out there in front of the Remington statues, and Bob Stead was there, and it was kind of neat because we went to the Golden Ox out for dinner. Do you remember that? And it was, I mean, so what? You went to a restaurant. No, this was, you know, died and gone to heaven because you know, all year we'd been eating pimento sandwiches on the road trips. So now we went to go to a restaurant. We had a pool. What was the bill going to come to? And I remember Larry Woodward was the writer for the Portland Press-Herald. He won the pool, actually, $1,187. So which was neat because we spent $1,150 for the year and $1,187 in that year. So now the next game we're getting ready to play Auburn Montgomery and a team from Alabama. Good golly. We think we would have beaten them, and I believe that to this day, but Charlie Warren
broke his leg.
Amen. Charlie Warren, who was, what a warrior Charlie Warren was, he broke his leg in the first half. And we didn't know it was broken at the time until later, obviously, but he couldn't play anymore. And, I mean, at that point, at one point we were up, in the first half up 11 on Auburn Montgomery. We wound up losing by 10, 76-66. And the dream came to an end. But we finished that season 26-6. And as I say, it's the neatest things, it's so many little things. I can remember, you know, getting postcards from the senators of the, you know, from our Maine senators. Congratulations, you represented Maine so well. And we were in the USA Today, it was the headline on the sports page, you know, the upset Biola, the headline on the Los Angeles Times, you know, out there, because that's where Biola came from, was Los Angeles. I mean, it was just like the little monks left the lake and went out and kind of, for one day, we owned the world. And it was all because we had some, you know, just gentlemen that believed. And like I said, I'm sure that they, at times, might have said, boy, we're going to miss Creature, we're going to miss Theo, we're going to miss Charlie. Yeah, we're going to miss Ricky Russell, okay? I had to get that in for you. Ricky Russell, you know, Ricky was not a great player. He's a phenomenal human being. I wish he was here. Ricky Russell, but we had a countdown to Jeff Creech because when he was getting ready to get 2,000 points. And one day he came to me, Ricky Russell, and said, Coach, you understand that I also am getting close to my 2,000th point in practice. I said, Ricky, nobody keeps track of your points in practice. He said, honestly, I've been keeping track. We bought him a big cake. We had a big cake for Ricky Russell getting his due. He didn't score 112 points in practice. But God bless him. God bless him. And you know, I got one more story before I guess Rube, are you coming up here to say a few words? I want to just,
We
point out.
got Chad on the video as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I know that some of you have heard this vignette, but I really need to pass this on because we had some talented guards. David Chadbourne went down, and I meant to bring that back. He came back 1 month to the day after he had that back operation. They told him 6 to 12 months, 1 month he came back. We had to start slow with him. I think it was 38 minutes that first game. But I mean, like I said, what a pain threshold he had. And then we had Tyrone White, Roger Burke, Freddie Price. We had some great guards, but Chadbourne's out with an injury. Sadly, Freddie and Tyrone became ineligible at the semester. So it was one of the most difficult things I ever had to do, and one of the most phenomenal, because there was a young man from Paterson, New Jersey by the name of Pat Livingston. And we called him Patio Furniture. And Patio went out for the team. Now, he was all-state from New Jersey, and when he came here, obviously to play basketball, he tried out as a freshman, and I cut him. And because we had better guys. He tried out again as a sophomore, and I cut him. You're getting a trend here. And he tried out again as a junior, and I cut him. And as a senior, how many kids would try out as seniors after being cut 3? It wouldn't happen in today's world, right? He tried out again, and I said, Patio, I love you. We just have better guys. I mean, David Chadbourne, and Tyrone White was skilled. I mean, like I said, we got very good players. He said, Coach, I understand it, but I really wanted to try, and I understand, no problem. Well, when David went down, Freddie and Tyrone became ineligible. I said, we're hurting. And I made a call. We're getting ready to go to Florida. I made a call to New Jersey, and I said, Patio, I said, you're going to probably hang up on me, but I need a guard. I need a guard. And I cut you 4 times, and I need you. I said, what do you think? And like you said just a minute ago, you said, I remember it as if it was yesterday. I could hear him on the other end of the phone because Pat Livingston said, Coach, this is the best Christmas present I've ever gotten. He says, I'll be there in 2 days. And I mean, how many kids would do that? They'd say, hey, stick it. I'm not going to play. You didn't want me. And he couldn't get here fast enough. What a great human being. And it was fun because he didn't get in a lot of games, but he was important to us in practice. But it was kind of fun because against Auburn Montgomery, at the very end of the game, I put him in because, hey, I wanted every player to be able to enjoy what that was like out in Kemper Arena in Kansas City. And he scored 6 points in a minute. And now, it's like all the people looking at me like, what is this idiot? Why is he keeping this scoring machine on the bench, right? So, thank you. But with about 15 seconds to go, Patio got fouled. I don't know if you guys remember this. He got fouled, and he went to the foul line. Now he's going to probably score his 7th and 8th. He shot an air ball that missed by 9 feet. And, it went about halfway. And I pointed out, he looked over at me sheepishly, and I go, thank you. It took a lot of the heat off me. You see now why I'm not playing again. He told me after the game, I said, Patio, we hugged, and, because there was no tears after losing to Auburn Montgomery. That's no crime. And I said, Patio, I'm so glad you were part of this journey. And I thought he'd say, me too, Coach. He said, if you'd have kept me sooner, we'd have got here a lot sooner. And he's probably right. He's probably right. Brian Rubinskis, all-time leading shot blocker. He had 83 block shots as a freshman. I'm not a big fan of block shots. But if you have somebody whose skill, demands it, obviously you let him do it. All-time leading rebounder. Terrific player. Warren Johnson didn't play as much. He came that year as a freshman. Okay, some of these young men were freshmen, and obviously, anytime you're part of a good program, you're not going to get as many minutes. You wait your turn, and then it's your opportunity, right? Timmy Forty was a manager. We've had some phenomenal managers in this program. Joe Dwyer, okay, the pride of the Middlesex League. Again, also outstanding shot blocker, was a freshman that year. Freddie would have been, had he stayed, and you know, would have been a terrific player. I was thrilled when he came, played at Lexington, Massachusetts, for a good friend and an outstanding coach. Brent Nichols, as I said, transferred from UMPI, and started right away, was a big part of our success. Paul Halverson, you know, he was a terrific scorer and shot the ball very quickly, and had some outstanding scoring, you know, opportunities. Tommy Ullman today is a mountain of a man. He was a one-iron when I recruited him, and so was I, Tom. Yes. I was going to say that before you did. After Jamie and Dick and everybody. But again, became a phenomenal player. And you know, it's like so many coaches would say, wait, whoa. Jeff Creech, Tom Ullman, Brian David, Chadbourne, I mean, Kyle Howell, John Wall. How do you get these players? But the one thing I would say is this. You know, when they became juniors and seniors, they were phenomenal players. But they weren't all phenomenal players when they got here, but they had heart and they had phenomenal work ethic. And that's why I like Charlie Warren. Charlie Warren, you know, I'm so sad he's not here tonight, because if anybody is the heart and soul, Charlie Warren was that. Just a warrior of a young man. And you know, I'll never forget that, and the nuns won't either. One time we were playing a game in Massachusetts, and we got upset. We got upset down there, and I was upset. And first of all, I said, no, we're not stopping, you're not getting any food, okay? And when we get back, we're going to go practice. So we got back about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and we started practicing. And we practiced till about 3 or 3:30, and we did one drill, because we got out-rebounded down there. So all we did was, we threw the ball up off the glass, they went up and got it, and then they had to go up and power it up. Now, for an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours, that one drill. And Charlie Warren ripped the rim down every single time. And it was, I'm going to dunk every one, because, you know, I don't want to be here. I can't believe you're having us practice at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was like, whoa. And the nuns, God bless them, the only thing they were upset with is you should have let them eat. The fact that they were practicing until 3:30, that was fine, but you should have let, do you remember telling me that?
I went and talked to you about that.
At least let them stop and have dinner on the way home, and then put them through that darn drill.
I told you. They were just beginning. You had to give them time. And he took it.
I did. And you know, I just concluding, I mean, yes, it was a terrific season, one, you know, a year that we will all never forget. You know, this is the media guide from the next year. What a great photo that was taken there. That is Charlie Warren laying it in. And you know, he's growling, because he growled every time he took it to the basket. There's great photos here. And David Chadbourne I guess is going to say something via video. I wish he was here too, because what a player, what a young man. I'm going to stop, but again, what I would like to say, Brian, I guess you're going to say something. Is that what's? No, he's not.
Apparently this. Brian, we're all set for Chad. David couldn't be here, but he didn't want to completely not be here. If you know David, you're not surprised.
He's coaching at Franklin Pierce, David Chadbourne is. They have a game this evening. He couldn't be here. So, over here, and there.
Both sides there.
Hi everyone, David Chadbourne here. First of all, let me say I'm very sorry I couldn't be there tonight to honor everybody. I want to say special congratulations to all the inductees tonight, all deserved, and I'm fortunate enough to know Karen and see her play in college, and I'm very happy for her. And obviously I played for Coach Graffam and in basketball and baseball, and had the good fortune of having him here with me for a year, Franklin Pierce. And Coach, congratulations, well deserved. You know, to all the inductees, it's a special night, and again, I wish I could be there. Now, having said that, I'd like to, you know, to the guys I played with at St. Joe's through those years, and especially that team in '86 and '87 that went out to Kansas City and beat Biola in the tournament. You know, I talk about you guys all the time. I think about you a lot. It was a great team, great teammates, and I miss you guys. I hope you're all there, and I hope you're having a good time. And I want to say on behalf of the team, and I'm sure I can speak a little bit for the group, and thanking our coaches, Coach Simons, who obviously meant a great deal to me, not just in the 4 years I was at St. Joe's, but coaching with me for 4 years and using him as a resource throughout my life with coaching and everything else. And obviously Coach Graffam again, who just was such a great compliment to Coach Simons throughout his career, and then became, you know, a great head coach in basketball as well. And then there's Coach McDevitt, who, as it turns out, who I knew right away, even when I was playing for him, when he was the second assistant, that he was going to be a hell of a coach, and he's turned out to be one of the best coaches I know. So, you know, it's great family for St. Joe's, and I'm hoping that, you know, tonight, as you guys are watching this, I'm hoping we're celebrating a win here. That's the only way that could have kept me from being there with you guys. And you know, like I said, I miss you all. You were great teammates, and I hope you're all doing well.
Just in conclusion, I'd like to say, because he mentioned it, and that I mentioned the players, but you know, to be able to have Jim Graffam and Mike McDevitt on you know, on the bench with you, terrific people, terrific coaches, terrific motivators, and you're right, Chad. You know, I obviously Els has been with me for ever and ever, and is a terrific coach. You know, for a little school like St. Joe's to have so many outstanding coaches that you know, that we've been fortunate to have is really a pretty neat thing. But let's just have one last round of applause for a very special group of young men, the 86, 87.